Hey, this is Stop Stressing and Start Living with me, Dennis Crosby. And today I want to talk to you about how to identify your biggest area or opportunity for growth. Now, this was inspired by something that happened to me earlier today. It was actually when I woke up this morning. And I was feeling frustrated about my company. And it was because I didn't feel that my team had the urgency that I felt they needed in their actions. I didn't feel like they were getting things done fast enough and efficient enough to a level that I felt was required for this season of the business. And normally what I do is go into this really deep contemplative state and decide and create this big long speech or monologue that I would give to my team to try and motivate them, make the change, and just all this other kind of ridiculous stuff. And it's kind of my MO. It's what I do. But this time I decided to go a different direction. I instead asked myself, okay, what am I doing that's causing this culture, this environment inside my company? Because just like with everything else in life, it's a reflection of what's going on inside versus what's going on outside. If you are frustrated that somebody is eating a really delicious piece of chocolate cake and you can't, it's not because it has nothing to do with the fact that they're eating chocolate cake. It has to do with the fact that you can't eat it and you want it. It's all about what's happening internally, has nothing to do with external. What's happening externally. So I asked myself what was going on inside of here that was causing this to happen. And when I thought about it like that, the answer was very simple. I wasn't setting deadlines. There was no urgency coming from me when I was asking for things to be done. Whereas it was more I give ranges or very soft deadlines where I would say, okay, this isn't that big of a deal, so if you can get it to me by the end of next week, that would be fine. Or, in the next 3 to 5 days is fine. Whereas what I really meant was I wanted it in 3 days. Or I would like to see it done by the end of this week, but if there's a ton of stuff on your plate, it could wait till next week. But there was no decisiveness coming from me. There was no conveyance that, hey, this is something urgent that I need done in a very timely manner by X date. So, of course, if I'm coming off like that, why would they respond in any other way than this clearly isn't that important? I'll get to it when I can. And we all know that when left with a open deadline or a very loose or far away deadline, we wait to the last minute. It's just human nature. Is why we procrastinate. Is what we do. So that's what happened to me. And the answer was really simple. I'm just going to start setting deadlines. When I ask for something, I'm just going to decisively say when I need it done by. And that's going to be when I truly want it done by, not the absolute latest that's acceptable. So when you're thinking about where you have the biggest opportunity for growth in your life, it's a very simple question that you have to ask yourself. It's what frustrates me the most right now? What is frustrating me right now? And whatever the answer to that question is, that's not the real opportunity for growth. It's when you take that extra step and then ask yourself, what is happening inside of me that's causing this situation? That's causing this frustrating thing to happen? And when you ask yourself that question, like when I asked myself that question, you'll realize that it's something, and it's always something that's going on in here that's causing it. So when you identify that, the last step is just to make the change. So for me, my last step was to start making deadlines, and just make that change. So what happens is you start to form a cycle. And that cycle is identifying what's frustrating you right now, figuring out what's happening internally that's actually causing it, and then making the change. And what's happening is you're making that circle, and it's happening again and again, and you keep doing this, and you start to form a spiral. And that's the spiral of evolution of your soul, your spirituality, your personal development, whatever you want to call it, growing. And the faster you go through that cycle, the faster you spiral up. And it's really builds its own momentum to a point where if you keep doing this practice, a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, you may be a completely different person simply by asking yourself, what's frustrating me right now? What's causing the frustration? And then make the change. So that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know time is our most valuable resource. It's the one thing that we can't buy any more of. So the fact that you're investing with me right now always puts a smile on my face. Take care and see you next time.